Good day, and welcome to another SCUM 101 video. Today we are going to be going through an in-depth crash course in your character's creation. I'm going to show you and demonstrate to you what skills are a must, and which ones you can skip or skill into less. Without any more waiting, let's begin. First screen you come to, you're going to name your character. Easy. Next, you are immediately going to see sliding bars in the top left corner of your screen, and without any idea where to set these and what skills each attribute changes, what do you do now? Well, just don't worry about it. We'll come back to it in a minute. Cosmetic appearances are directly below the sliding bars, and I'll let you decide how you want your character to look on your own time. Well, let's get moving on to the really important stuff. On the next page, we're going to start with strength. Strength is going to be affecting all your fighting abilities, as you can see. Brawling, not so important. However, melee weapons, this skill makes you hit harder and have certain combo attacks when using physical attacks. Nothing to worry about really. Basic skill in melee is probably most important. Rifle and handgun skills reduce recoil, weapon malfunctions, and reload times quite a lot. Here, I am demonstrating the difference between a character with no skill in rifles and a character with advanced skills in rifle. There is a noticeable performance change with the more skill you have in rifles. That being said, this is an easy skill to raise by joining PvP events in the server. Skills acquired from said event follow your character back into the open world. Finally, archery. The more skill you have here, the greater your character's ability to handle a heavier pound draw, hold it longer, and have steadier aim. That about covers up strength attributes. They are all pretty easy to level and just by playing the game itself, so I wouldn't stress too much here, just make sure you're happy with what you have. Constitution is next to look at. Constitution controls your running and endurance skills. Running will directly change how fast you move while running, whereas endurance changes how long you can run at any given speed. These skills don't really require a lot of thought, as you can ride a bicycle to level them quite quickly or just run around in game. It's really that simple. Dexterity, however, requires a lot more finesse. Some serious choices will need to be made here. Dexterity and intelligence is really where your character comes to life. Thievery is the first thing we're going to look at, and it's the single most important skill for a good lockpicker. This skill is not needed to pick locks in police stations, bunkers, and POIs. However, the more advanced locks, such as kill box locks and player-based locks, are much easier to pick with Thievery set to advanced. This skill is also nearly impossible to level by playing the game normally, and something you need to choose to do before starting your character. Most players will only want basic skill here. Driving and motorcycling changes how fast you can start a car, and it might improve the fuel economy and handling. However, we're not entirely convinced of that. Don't stress too much here with spending points, because this skill accumulates quite rapidly by using the corresponding vehicles in game. Demolition is a critical choice when making your character. Advanced demolitions greatly assist with reducing the complexity of defusal attempts for enemy mines, kill box areas, and C4 puppets. Also, it has a direct correlation to the efficiency and power of crafted explosives. However, something I realized while researching this is demolition skill no longer seems to affect your trigger area of motion and laser tripwires. As this video is not directed towards your advanced player, we recommend no skill points here, and allocating a couple hours to leveling your character's demolition skill via the practice bomb. Throwing changes how accurate and how far you can throw grenades. This can be leveled by throwing anything in game, and is not something to spend points over. Stealth makes your movement quieter, and this skill takes a huge amount of crouch walking or crawling in game to level. For that reason, we recommend setting it to medium to make moving around zombies and mechs a lot easier. And finally, aviation is the same as driving and the motorcycle skill. However, planes are currently not in the game as of this video, so there's no point in putting any skills into them at this time. Finally, let's move on to intelligence skills. These skills are, for the most part, very important. Awareness, most importantly, allows you to notice enemies camouflaged in shrubbery or terrain easier. It also affects the loot you find while looting the environment. This skill, however, is easily leveled up by dragging items out of boxes you search and dropping them on the floor if you don't intend to keep them. Every time you see an item in the world for the first time, it increases your awareness skill. So for that reason, we recommend no skill or at most basic be put here. Sniping changes how fast and far you can range and zero your scope for a target. It also affects weapon sway, breath control, and recoil. This can easily be leveled. Attach any sight that has 4 times magnification or higher, such as an ACOG, onto something with cheap ammunition, such as an MP5, and go out and engage in environmental threats such as zombies, bears, or wolves. Try to land as many shots as possible, as every hit levels your skill in sniping. Camouflage helps you blend into the environment while you are completely stationary. Remember, this is directly affected by your opponent's skill and awareness. And survival affects how efficient you are while crafting recipes and gives you a basic compass at all times, starting at the basic skill level. This is what we recommend to get started. Engineering directly affects what level of base building elements your character can construct. Basic will allow you to craft basic locks, whereas advanced allows you to craft advanced locks, which is the bare minimum we recommend for a base. You or someone in your group will need this skill at advanced as to not limit yourselves from having a great start with the proper security. Medical is very important. This affects how many bandages are consumed to treat a wound, how quickly you can treat that wound, and how quickly that wound goes from stabilization to recovery. Basically, the higher the skill here, the less downtime you have from your injuries. We recommend the bare minimum here to be medium. And finally, farming will directly affect how much yield you get from your crops and how quickly you can interact with your crop through every step of the way. This skill is not to be stressed about at the moment, as we have found scavenging towns, farms, and bunkers along the way to be far more fruitful if you know where to look. Now that we know all this, how do we set up our sliding bars on the previous screen we were just at? Well, let's go back and I'll help you with this final step. As you can see, any skill you want to take to an advanced level will deplete the attribute points available to spend by 3. So if you want to make one skill advanced and at least one other skill basic in that category, you need 4 attribute points in that skill set. Play around with this and find what's perfect for you. Some things to keep in mind is you cannot level your strength past the basic level if you do not have strength to at least 1. And for medium it's 2, and for advanced it's 3. And finally, the size of your squad is also directly affected by your intelligence. The better intelligence of your squad leader, the more people you can invite. 5.0 intelligence will get you the max squad size on most servers. This was the crash course on your character creation. Don't worry about it too much. What is important is get into the game and have fun. However, we covered a lot of big things here that should make it much easier time for your first character. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the SCUM 101 videos. Have a great day!